Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I thought I would show you guys something today, and I have a couple reasons for kind of showing it, because really people are always really curious about what I eat because they're shocked that I'm a power lifter, I've been gaining strength, and yes guys, I know I'm not a world-class athlete, but you guys forget how much strength I've regained after being sick for a long time, and the fact that I'm a vegan, and it really throws people off. And so I did something today. I was out having coffee with a friend of mine, and then there's a fruit shop about 3/4 of a mile down the street from me, and I like to get a lot of produce there and bring it home in a backpack. And I grabbed a couple watermelons on my way home. It's right here. I thought I'd show them to you guys. And this is kind of, interesting for a couple reasons, because one, here's the second one. And I'll carve these up later. I'm going to eat at least one of these this afternoon during my feed window here. And it's interesting for a couple reasons. Because one, it is good for your overall fitness to go do stuff like this. Just in general, being more active and being more fit, trying to do things on foot can be useful to you. And going and being out walking and getting a backpack and throwing a couple watermelons in your backpack and bringing them home. And I like to do the same things at the local farmer's market when they're open. I do all of my grocery shopping on foot. Now my wife doesn't always do that, so I do some of her shopping too. She likes to order it and just have it delivered, but I do all of my grocery shopping on foot, and it helps increase your overall activity. It helps keep you more fit to just pack home backpacks full of groceries and things. And again, carrying a couple watermelons can be good, and I've actually done this before sometimes to where if it's a nice day outside, I'll get a couple of watermelons and I'll go walk an extra mile or two around with them in a backpack just for the extra conditioning work. And also it's kind of funny because it comes back to another primal instinct for me. You guys know, of course, that now I'm a vegan, but as I discussed with some of this in the Ask Jason channel, I have a long history of hunting. I was raised as a hunter. I was taught very traditional hunting ways. I'm also part Cherokee Indian, and I was taught by my grandfather and the other men that he hunted with a different view on hunting that a lot of people have. And my own personal philosophy back when I was a meat eater and a hunter was that I generally viewed people who had never stalked and killed an animal themselves to really be unfit to be eating meat. I didn't think they were worthy of it because they hadn't earned their place in the food chain and they hadn't earned their right to be a hunter. And that was the way that I viewed that. And I felt like they had a disconnect and no relationship with the animal and their food accordingly. And I found it really, the idea that people who were so disconnected, they really didn't understand where their meat come from, I used to find that personally offensive. And it's interesting that my view on that is partially in my respect for the animals, and even the respect for the animals I used to hunt. And the admiration for them was one of the reasons that I ended up becoming vegan ultimately. And yeah, I did a lot of primitive weapon hunting, and for me, I've gone and I've done horseback hunting up in Colorado and hunted elk on horseback. I used to bow hunt deer, and I used to do close-up hunting where I would go out in the woods to hunt wild pigs in Texas with a ghillie suit on, skunk spray to mask my scent, and either a spear or a Bowie knife, and I would stalk them. And for me, this is part of getting back my little bit of my hunter without hurting any animals. Now I go and I stalk watermelons. And instead of hunting a pig with a Bowie knife, I have my kitchen knife and I carve it up. And it really fulfills that same, I guess for me, that same sensation of being at one with my food, of going out and finding my food and packing a heavy load back. Because I used to do this on foot, and I've had to quarter animals out in the field and pack them back on my back or in a pack, sometimes several miles. And so for me, this is going back and it's earning my food, earning my place in the food chain. And as silly as that sounds, just because of my own upbringing, it's something that's a little bit important to me. And even though I don't do this with animals now I do this with things like fruit or my big piles of vegetables that I use to get all the veggies that I need every day. And now I carve these up instead of skinning and butchering an animal that I've stalked out in the woods. And so to me, I still feel like I'm part of that same circle of life and earning my place in the food chain, earning my food. And silly as that sounds, it's something that I just grew up with and happen to believe in. So it just is what it is. So, I mean, for me, this is both helping with overall fitness And it's something I just like to do and show you guys kind of what I do with my food, how I get my food, how I prepare food. It just gives you guys an idea of what I do. And this is what I do on a daily basis. I go out and I gather all my food with a backpack and I bring it home on foot. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time. But let me give you guys a bicep shot before I go. Oh.